Hello and welcome. This video is about why training fails and what you can do about it. I'm Garland, also known as Captain Time. Training is a major investment for most companies, and it is really important to provide training for your team, but you want to make sure you're actually getting the most out of your investment. So let's talk about some of the problems involved with training and how to overcome them. The first problem is maybe you didn't determine the real needs of the person on your team who's struggling. So are they struggling because they lack experience? So can you work out a way for them to get more experience? Do they lack the capability? Maybe they're not the right person for the job. Do they need more software training? Or is the actual problem that they need more time management training or other soft skills? So if they're behind in doing things, is it because they don't understand the software, or is it like a general time management problem? So the solution for this is to do an in-depth needs assessment, to be talking to your team, finding out what their obstacles are, finding out where they're struggling, finding out what training could work for that, rather than just doing a one-size-fits-all training and bringing someone in to do training and assuming that's going to solve all your problems. The next problem with training is that you may have different readiness levels. So, for example, Sandy and Bob might both need to use Excel in their daily work, but maybe Sandy's a really advanced user and Bob's kind of a beginner, a little bit of a baby when it comes to using Excel. He can use it okay, but he's just learning it. So sending both Sandy and Bob to an advanced course would leave Bob way over his head, whereas Sandy would probably love it and learn a lot from it. So the solution is then to train for the levels, the readiness that they're at. So you send Sandy on the advanced Excel course, send Bob to a basics course. So you don't want that one size fits all, have someone come in and do training and finding out that half your staff is really advanced and half of them are really basic. So then the trainer has to dumb down the training to only work for the basics people, and the advanced people are really getting nothing useful from the training session. You'd be better off having two separate sessions. The next problem is choosing the wrong training company. Maybe the training company performs poorly or just isn't able to work with your company culture. They might be a good company maybe for another culture, but just not for the way your particular company works. So the solution to this is to do more testing and more in-depth probing before you actually hire a training company. Check their references, ask their references what could have been done better. How could they have done it better? Test the company's responsiveness to questions. When you ask them a question, how well are they getting back to you? How fast? How much detail? Ask for and pay for a sample session in one topic. So get them to teach one topic, then get feedback from your staff on how effective the session was. And that will help you choose whether this is the right company to work with. The next problem is really common. Sitting and listening to a lecture does not mean that you acquire the skill. Any more than reading a book on brain surgery doesn't automatically give you the skill to operate. If I've read my home brain surgery book in 5 easy lessons, you don't want me practicing on you or your family. You want somebody with a little bit more experience, somebody who's actually done this a few times. So what's the solution to this problem that somebody's heard the information in a lecture, but they don't really have the skills? So the solution is to give them an opportunity to practice that skill. So the participant should come back with a list of what they've learned, and then you should be developing an action plan with that employee, with that participant. The manager and the participant should get together, work out a plan to ensure time is set aside for that practice and continued development to do it. Especially if it's a skill that isn't always used. If it's something used only every few months, then the problem is that by the time a few months comes around, it's almost like they need to be trained all over again. The next common problem that causes a lot of failures in training is that people can't apply the lesson. So the lesson sounded great while you were at the workshop. You loved it. You thought it's fantastic. And then when you get back, somehow you just can't seem to implement it. Like, you fall back into the same work habits, and somehow the stuff that sounded so amazing in the workshop just doesn't come back to the workplace with you. So the solution here is to have help that is ongoing. And this can be both in-house or external. So maybe you should have an in-house person, a support person, a training person that can help them apply the lessons they've learned, whether it's from internal training or external training. If you're working with an external training company, see if they've got some additional resources and help that can be accessed after the workshop, such as a video library or maybe some follow-up sessions, some more training sessions. So training should be a partnership between your outside trainers and your in-house trainers, your managers, and your human resources people to get the maximum benefit from your training. You want to work out how do we get them to actually apply the skill when they get back? Who do they contact for help? Where do they get more assistance in that case? I hope you found this video useful. If you'd like help or a quote on time management skills training, visit captaintime.com and I'd be happy to give you a quote and help.